Rhone blend or Mediterranean blends are becoming more popular in South Africa, especially after the discovering of old vineyards in the Swartland, whose a region who is known for drastic temperature, very little rain, and very similar what you find in some region of Spain, south of France, North Africa, or even Lebanon or Greece or Turkey. Therefore, it made sense for winemakers to try to reproduce or be inspired by what was done there. Radford Dale created Black Rock, focusing on the best vineyards from the regions of Swartland, combining Syrah, Cinsault, Grenache, Mouvedre,
Carignan.
and Carignan. So it can sometimes sound a bit strange to blend so many grapes together, but remember, Grenache is very oxidative, Carignan is very reductive, like Mouvedre. So usually they help each other. They got lower alcohol on the Carignan side, more alcohol on the Grenache, and the Syrah brings all this pepperiness and sometimes the juiciness of the middle body. So as much as Bordeaux is specialized on getting the best blend using Cabernet Sauvignon, Black Rock is one of the best examples you can find for blending this cultivar outside the south of France or around the Mediterranean Sea. What do you think, Cathy, with this Black Rock 2019 Wine Origin Swartland?
So, we have a real, for me, Syrah colour. It's on the maroon side, or is this burgundy? It's kind of the colour of my scarf, almost.
A hint bluer.
A hint
Clear.
bluer still.
Yeah.
And that would be Syrah. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that would be Syrah. On the nose, there's immediate pepperiness. There's just this whack of black pepper that you get from the Swartland Syrah. There's also a meatiness, I would imagine, from the Mouvedre. Oh, a little bit of tobacco. I don't know where that's coming from, but a little bit of tobacco leaf.
Tobacco can come from the wood aging
Yeah.
as well, and the maturation, because we start, very ripe Grenache can turn into secondary aromatics fairly quickly once it loses primary strawberry.
And the fruit is definitely in the red spectrum.
Yes.
Unlike the cooler climate Syrah, where you get sometimes the cassis black currant spectrum, this is definitely more the red fruit spectrum of Syrah. The palate is delicious.
Incredibly dense.
Wow, that's packed with concentration. It almost makes me want to say this wine has got a lot of extract, but without seeing the technical analysis sheet, I can't really
But it
say
tastes
that.
like that.
But it tastes as if it's got lots of extract, lots of flavour, very fresh and crunchy acidity.
And that's so surprising, because you look at grapes from a warm climate, because Swartland is warm. Even if the granitic soil sometimes gives some freshness into the grapes, it's a warm, sun-baked area. Look at the freshness you manage on that wine, by the concentration as well. That's impressive, I must say.
It's really showing well. And I think the other thing that you get on this, a lot of the time I use the term fynbos, but for me, fynbos is the garrigue of southern France.
Mm-hmm.
So it is kind of a garrigue, a herby, but a wild herby character on it as well.
And that can often come from the Mouvedre character.
As well,
which
yes.
brings
the
this
Mouvedre.
slightly greenish herby, which is not a main part of the wine, but it's like the salt and the pepper in the dish. It's just a little hint that gives balance. And because there's enough roundness into it, it can absorb any,
And
I should not
this
say greenness coming from that, but vegetal side or herby side, dryly.
And I think that this is a very carefully picked fruit. And when I mean that they chose to pick, they really watched the vineyards to decide when they were ripe and didn't let them go into overripe, so that they get none of that baked, suntanned fruit character. And I know that Edouard drives thousands of kilometers during harvest to check on the Pinot Noir on
Edouard
one side
is a
of
French
South
winemaker,
Africa,
part of the team of Radford Dale.
and also then drives up to the Swartland. He's very pedantic about checking his vineyards, almost on a daily basis to see
Luckily,
when
there's
he
not
wants
too
to
many
pick.
roads to drive in the
No,
Swartland.
I think his car knows where to go. I think that's drinking beautifully. And that Garrigui character, that Fynbos character is coming to the fore. And that for me, I always associate with Mediterranean blends.
What you should not try to find when you look at the Black Rock and you have to imagine what it tastes like, don't imagine another powerful, overripe, overcooked wine
Absolutely
from
not.
a warm region. It's actually extremely fresh and still crunchy on the palate, which you would not put that necessarily on the Swartland side, but that's the beauty of all vines as well. They can resist the heat and get this extract from the soil that you can find on the middle palate. The weight is not cloying, it's just powerful on the palate. And there's no astringency, there is no visible tannins that are making it heavy. There's just power. We used to say, when we talk about Châteauneuf-du-Pape, that was a iron fist in a velvet glove,
Yes,
with a bit of freshness.
absolutely.
That would apply to that wine.
Absolutely. And the tannins, I always pick up, I think tannins from the Swartland are like a lattice or like a basket weave. They're strong, but they're also flexible and pliable. And I think that's what shows on the
I don't
palate.
find any hardness on
Nope.
that wine.
Mm-mm. Absolutely lovely.
So let's hope you'll be able to identify it blind. It's a beautiful wine, Black Rock, 2019, from Radford Dales.